Okay, welcome back. On the lower body portion now, just blocking out these little boots. I think this will probably be the last video that I do the block-ins. Maybe I'll do the sweatpants because it's just more of the same stuff. You know, me just extracting a mesh and like technically all the same stuff is happening. It's more like the design things that I'm changing at the moment. Like I wanted to make the boots a little bit bigger. Because I knew that I was going to kind of exaggerate the sweatpants a bit more. And just to balance it out a bit, I think I needed to make the boots a bit bigger. So that was like the thought behind this while I was doing, making the final meshes for these boots. I was thinking it's going to be bigger. So that had some other problems with it. I mean, I probably could have made them bigger and, just from the aesthetics of it, it would have worked. But like I said, I like to kind of put these things into how they would work in the real world because I find that helps me. And I was thinking, with these boots being that much bigger, how wearable would they actually be? I can't make them too big, obviously, that you couldn't stand, with your feet together. That would be difficult to wear, and crazy. Why? What's the point? But I also wanted to push it far enough that it still kind of looked visually interesting. So I came up with, like a sort of mechanism inside the boot that would give a custom fit. So if you can imagine how much room there would be inside, and how much room for potential padding, you could have a really nice, comfortable fit in something like this. So what I figured is I would have something on the side, whether it be big button that you could press, and it would activate some sort of air technology inside the boot, to inflate and give you that custom fit, and still be really, really comfortable because these are obviously used for some kind of extreme sport. Uh, and I figured that would be a good way to have them work and fit, on like a normal size leg, foot. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm making. I decided to go with a slider. I thought that looked a bit more interesting than a button. So it had to be easy enough to use. Say if you got gloves on or something, protective um, gloves. So it can't be anything too fiddly, like a tiny little button or something. Everything's oversized, so I went with that and didn't shy away from it on the side of the boot, making it kind of big. So yeah, you slide it to the towards your calf, towards the back of the leg, and that triggers the mechanism inside to inflate. Um, Again, if I really wanted to flesh it out, I'd draw it out and label things up, show you exactly how the mechanism works. But this is just a character sculpt at the end of the day. Um, it's not for anyone but me. So as long as I think about these things, and they push the design forwards, I am happy with that. And it was just something that I felt like I needed to put on the model, not only because it makes it a bit more interesting, it makes you kind of question what that is, and maybe that's enough. But there is some sort of vague explanation there of what could actually happen. how that could be used in relation to the fit of the boot. And like I said, I'm going pretty over the top with everything being oversized. Um, the sweatpants as well will be quite exaggerated, quite a bit more than I've done there anyway, because now you can see from here that I've already widened the stance, so I've already got the legs pretty close to what they're gonna be on the final model, and I think in the future I'm gonna do that as well, no matter what I'm sculpting, whether it's a character, um, creature, ship, hard surface, whatever. I'll try and sculpt it as close as I can to the final pose. It's just a lot less work, in the back end. And like I said, when I did this, I kind of knew that it was going to be in a neutral sort of pose, so not too difficult. And I didn't want to challenge myself too much with posing and things because that again is just something that takes a lot of practice. And I know that I'm not gonna hit a home run first time with posing, so give myself something easy to do that still, looks pretty good. I mean, they look a bit crazy now, because even though I do quite like how rounded they are there. Um, but once I get the folds on them and things like that, like compression folds, because the weight of the guy, the way he's standing, will have an impact on the materials. And this is obviously soft, or a soft-ish spongy material, so it's going to have folds. You're going to be able to see the impact that his weight is having on these. So that's down to me to sculpt that on there. But even with that, it's not going to be a crazy amount of detail. This is just a little part I put on the boot. I'm going to put a decal in there. So because the boots are so simple, and again I like that, but they will need something. I do like working this way though, having all these little bits, like kind of jigsaw puzzle pieces, that you're trying to fit together. Yeah, it's quite a. It's worked quite well. You know, I'm starting to feel like I can model a lot of things this way, and still have it look quite clean. Because I'm still kind of thinking at some stages, I'll just work in Dynamesh, and just have the same kind of the same workflow as in all the subtools all separated out. The problem, or the main problem, I think, with that approach is when you come to pose things. Um, at least with the subdivisions, you can just reduce it right down to your low poly, and it just makes it really easy to pose because you can, fade your masks so much easier. And I think sometimes when I get, to get these thicknesses just right on an, say like a hard surface object, it would be quite tricky with Dynamesh. Um, I guess you just revert to using your clip curve to get an even thickness. But I'm used to doing it this way at the moment, so I will continue to use subdivisions. You don't always get the best topology, but it's good enough for what I use it for. I don't think I'm even going to bother texturing the bottom of these shoes. Um, or maybe I'll put like an alpha on the bottom or something, but they're just not going to be seen. And that'll be the next thing, just playing with the materials, because most of the foot, aside from the arch and that band that goes over the foot, the rest of it's going to be soft, like spongy material. So that some of the bottom parts will be a hard plastic. So I'm looking forward to playing with materials. That's pretty much it for the actual boot. That's all blocked in now. There's the rest of it as it stands. So I just got to work on the sweatpants now, and then I'll get it into its final pose, and just go over every sub tool, and just polish it a little bit, add the details where they need to be added, and then I can start getting on with some coloring, with some poly paint. So that'll be fun. I've never really used poly paint, so that'll be good. That's the final block in, and I'll see you in the next video.